I actually didn't want to teach, so that's funny. I
Mm.
was an Ashtanga practitioner, well, I'm still have, but less rigid, let's say, in just practicing Ashtanga. And
Mhm.
so I was just assisting my teachers and not doing even a teacher training at the beginning, like they were just needing as assist. So I think that's kind of like how it goes as an Ashtangi, like that's how you start teaching.
Mhm.
And and yeah, I did the teacher training mainly for me, and I feel that as I do teach teacher training myself, and all of my students they say the same. Like when it's the first day of the 200 hour, everyone say, "So I mainly take the 200-hour teacher training for myself, and maybe
That's
the
cool as
possibility,
well.
yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe the possibility in the future to teach, but no pressure." And at the end, everyone wants to teach, which I find is amazing. And so for me, it's more like I started on the side to teach. So it was on the side of my job, or yeah, always on the side of my job until I had the opportunity to manage my first studio. And then I said yes, and then I quit my job and just did it.
Exciting. So yeah, you just kind of got drew in. I'm very much the same, and I'm sort of starting to get drawn in more to teaching
Mm,
now, but I just did it for myself, and then you're like, oh, I really love this and I want to share it more and more. So I think that's how a lot of us get sucked in. What
yeah.
were sort of the big challenges that you found once you decided that you wanted to start teaching and like kind of actually make it into a business? What were the big challenges at the start that you faced?
Money. I think at one point at the beginning, I was trying to figure out, so especially when I quit my job, then I didn't really think about it so much before. I imagine, oh, if I make this in one class, well, if I was teaching maybe a lot of classes, then
Hmm.
I would be fine. I didn't really imagine what it would mean to teach a lot of class. And because
Yeah.
I haven't done it before. And so then I started to teach easy 20 class plus a week, sometimes 5 classes in a day. And I had my personal practice every day. And as an Ashtangi, like you do practice 6 days a week. And so
Hmm.
at one point, it was just too much. And I wasn't even making any money. Like I could not even live if I didn't have savings from before.
Hmm.
So I think that was my first big struggle was how am I going to make this work?
Yeah. And then how sort of long did that go on for? Like, how did you kind of overcome that?
So not long to be honest, because I just stopped teaching. I asked someone to take over my class, like most of my classes, and just like
Hmm.
reduce to the bare minimum. I stopped teaching in the morning so I could have my practice, and I just refocused on what was important for me, which was having my yoga practice.
Hmm.
And and I starting to look at what all my own teachers, mentors, they're doing. And I realized that none of them just teach drop-in classes because all of them just teach one class a day. As an Ashtanga, you have your one class in the morning and it's 6 days a week, and that's
Hmm.
6 class per week. And I was like, so how do they make money? And so they were doing workshops, or they had some retreats, they had some teacher trainings, like they had like in other studios. Like I could see that people had more things going on. And
Hmm.
so that's what I started doing. So I first added weekly workshops, and that went well. So then every week I had a workshop, and
Hmm.
and then I started to do retreats, yoga and surf retreats. And then I started to do yoga teacher trainings after that.
Hmm.
And that's how, like, in not even a year, I went from not making, like, for sure not making $10,000 a year, to
Hmm.
more than 50K just with in-person stuff.
Yeah, nice. I like that it's in person as well because I think there's recently been this really big push with all the pandemics to take everything online, and it doesn't have to be. And the only way to make it is you're selling these online courses or something. So I appreciate that there's, because I think we all crave that one-on-one. person, and that's what you kind of want to go in with teaching, and you get the reward from seeing people enjoy
Yeah.
it as well. Yeah.
Exactly, and one of the things that we were talking before is like the 50K method, like that's kind of like the name that I gave because I
Hmm.
kind of like built this method by doing it in person. And when the
Hmm.
pandemic hit, I actually did the same online. I was like, okay, I don't know anything about online. I hate being on camera. Uh, so I definitely had to work through that. But I did the same and
Hmm.
I started to like build also a suite of offers online as a yoga teacher, not as a business coach at all. So
Hmm.
I have a bunch of yoga courses. I had mentorship. I had like a lot of yoga stuff. Like I had Zoom classes like everyone, and
Hmm.
um, and it worked exactly the same.
Hmm.
And that's why I think like this system is so good because one, to excel and just be like able to maintain a good living by just doing one thing,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
it's a bit of a pressure on it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they even talk about that in investing practices and stuff, diversify the portfolio. I guess it's just like applying that to your
Yeah.
business and then seeing how that's going to like fit into everything. So it's very adaptable to you, you would say.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Mm.
I'm just looking at the chat at the same
Yeah,
time.
I thought it was a comment.
Yeah, offline opportunities, like and for me, of course, I'm going to say like yoga teachers have something online because when you're
Hmm.
sick, when you want to travel, like right now, I had to come to UK, like to my husband family, like I can take my business with me. Like there's so many wonderful things to have something online, but I still teach in-person
Hmm.
yoga classes. I still teach retreats in person. I still teach teacher
Hmm.
trainings because I love my in-person stuff. So it's not like it needs to be one or the other, but
Hmm.
having something online that can bring you for sure revenue, and it takes more time to learn it because often as yoga teachers, it's not something that we're like, ooh, I love tech. you know, I'm going to love setting up an online business. I've never
Hmm.
heard a yoga teacher saying that, and we don't go
Hmm.
into this direction for that. So
Hmm.
I say like learn it because it takes a bit of a time, but it's
Hmm.
so worth it. And then you can when you teach in person, you don't care if there's only two-person that shows up.
Hmm. Yeah, if you've got all of that other support network behind you.
Yeah.
Um, so you're going to be talking more about the 50K method in the summit. I'm very excited for that and to share that with everyone. And before we kind of wrap up, I was going to ask as well, do you have any specific advice that you would like to really share with new yoga teachers?
Yes. I think it is to take action. Like don't stay on the sidelines, because I think it only brings regrets for a lot of yoga teachers that I have noticed on being like, why haven't I started this like 2 years ago? Why haven't
Mm.
tried this or that? And if any of the people, the yoga teachers that listen, like have studied trauma, that's also how trauma is built up, is from the inaction of a certain situation a lot of the time
Mhm.
because we could not maybe act or something. And I will say, like, act. If there is something that you want to do, try and fail. And that's how you learn. Like, you don't learn by being able to do everything. You learn by failing at stuff. Like, you create something, it
Mm.
doesn't work. You create something else, it works. And then you learn why it works. And that's exactly how we move on and how we are able to just live from that if that's what you want, of course, as a
Mm.
yoga teacher.
Yeah, that's beautiful advice. I think it's a misconception as well, often that people think that confidence is just something that confident people
Yeah.
have, but confidence comes from like practice and like slowly proving to yourself that you can actually do scary things that you didn't think you could do, and just like keep kind of like pushing yourself,
Mm.
and it comes through that action.
It's
So
like a muscle.
yeah.
Have to
Yeah,
exercise it.
it is for a muscle. And I think everyone should also remember that as a yoga teacher, you might be really comfortable with the yoga teaching, but if you want to make a career, you're also unfortunately shoved into the becoming an entrepreneur. So you kind of, it comes with a lot of things to learn with that, and we just sort of you force into it. And if you really want to make it work, then you're going to have to face these other uncomfortable sort of things as well that you'll just grow as a person, though. So,
Yeah, and also maybe to not look at all of the things that you are going to have to learn, because if
mm,
not, it's overwhelming and you're not going to start and you're not going to have the confidence. And just like one little thing, and then you do it, and then you're like, wow, it's so cool. I updated my bio on Instagram, let's say. And then you do
yeah,
another thing. I created a freebie,
mm,
you know,
yeah,
just like one
yeah.
little thing. Yeah,
Baby steps.
big
Yeah,
steps.
definitely break it up into baby steps for sure.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, otherwise it's a lot. There's so many things to learn, but
yeah.
that's exciting as well. And yeah, I love that. So you've also got a workshop coming up. Did you want to share a little bit about that and how people can find that?
Yeah. So we have it's a 4-week workshop, actually, like a 4-part workshop, and it
Hmm.
starts next Tuesday. And it starts with the first workshop being on social media, how to use social media to attract ready to buy students. So not attracting
Hmm.
people that just find you inspiring, but attracting people that actually want to join your classes, your workshops, your retreats, your online programs, and so how to do it with your content. So your content is like activating. That's what I'm going to teach next week. And you can sign up at yogacawithgwen.com/leap, LEAP.
Awesome.
And it's
Sounds
free.
good. That sounds like a good lead in for people if they're waiting for the summit while that comes up. So
Yeah.
for anyone that hasn't registered, All Matt's Taken Summit is coming up on the 23rd to the 25th of March. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, starts on the 24th. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, every time I say that, for some reason, I mess that up. Um, and Gwen is going to be one of our amazing speakers, and she's going to be talking more about this 50K method. And this is all free as well, so you can go register for that as well. But thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm super excited to collaborate with you more.